solid to this end. So we are also looking at karaoke.
Where Malaysia's E&E industry, including semiconductors, is the engine that can power up our transformation into a high-tech, high-income nation. In 2024, this sector contributed nearly a third of our manufacturing GDP and more than 7% of our national output. In fact, in 2024, E&E exports also contribute to 601 billion ringgit. That's about 40% of our total exports, with semiconductors making up 20% of that. That's around 313 billion ringgit. So even amid global headwinds, Malaysia's semiconductor exports remain resilient, growing close to 16% in the first 6 months of this year alone. In fact, you look at other export growth, it's outpaced overall export growth. So this clearly shows our relevance and competitiveness in the global semiconductor space. The E&E industry has also been a magnet for investment, attracted close to 600 billion ringgit since 1980, with foreign investors contributing the bulk. And it has created over 1 million direct jobs and another 500,000 in supporting industries. What's equally important is that this growth is spreading from Penang and Selangor to Kedah, Negeri Sembilan, Perak and Sarawak. And it's lifting not just big players but also nearly 1,000 SMEs that form the bedrock of our semiconductor ecosystem. What makes this industry so vital is also its far-reaching impact. Every 1 ringgit spent triggers over 2 ringgit in direct output across the economy through supply chains, supporting the other sectors as well, and we can also measure the increase in household income. So in total, the industry generated close to 5 trillion ringgit in economic output last year, underscoring its role as a national multiplier. So it is clear that the semiconductor industry is not just driving economic numbers, it's also shaping Malaysia's future. It's a strategic national asset and a cornerstone of our ambition to lead in innovation, trade, and shared prosperity. So that is why it is important for us to double down on supporting the growth of the semiconductor industry. So ladies and gentlemen, the NSS is a clear roadmap for this industry to go really, really far. This is why I am pleased to share that over the past year, we have made progress in many of the NSS 5 strategic targets: investments, job opportunities for Malaysians, technology, and knowledge transfer. Our collaboration with various stakeholders, from state governments, MNCs and industries to agencies like Khazanah, Co-op, and universities are truly helping to deliver the numbers to enhance the resilience of our semiconductor supply chain against global market turbulence. Through fostering a vibrant R&D ecosystem, this is our target 3, for example, this has become more vibrant across the semiconductor value chain in the past year. We have R&D stakeholders like MIMOS, Invest Penang, SIDEC, USM, CREST, and even industry-academia collaboration like the USM Micron Assembly, Test, Marking and Packaging program. We've also seen programs implemented to support the advancement to higher value segments of the semiconductor value chain, including My Chip Start IC program led by MITI and CREST, Selangor's Semiconductor IC Design Park, which hosts global players like Phison and the Shenzhen Semiconductor Association. We have the Penang Silicon Design at 5 km plus in Penang, with partners such as Cadence, Siemens, Synopsys, Keysight, Inari, Globetronics, Silterra, and USM. And then we have the Sarawak Samajaya High Tech Park, with industry players such as XFAB, Tayo Yuden, and Melexis. And we have the Sarawak SMD Semiconductor, a design platform in partnership with Exfab Germany and the UK's CSA Catapult to develop silicon IP and compound semiconductor chips. So the involvement of global MNCs and then their scale and credibility to these efforts does help create the important stepping stones to anchor Malaysia as the competitive semiconductor R&D hub and co-development partner for MNCs. Furthermore, the Advanced Packaging R&D Consortium, which is comprising CREST, Academy Science Malaysia, USM and MIMOS, and the Advanced Packaging Institute and Research Center by NCIA, we are now really seeing the progress of that front as well. On talent, Minister Stephen is here, we are aware of the surging demand for skilled engineers and high-tech talent. Not just in the semiconductor industry, I'm proud to announce that we have trained a total of more than 13,000 high-skilled Malaysian workers in the semiconductor industry through several key programs, including those led by CREST and also the Ministry of Human Resource through Talent Corp. And the Ministry of Human Resources Talent Corp E&E Pillar Initiative has benefited over 1,180 participants nationwide. And what is equally important is that participants have reported wage increases of up to 20%, with more than half now earning more than 3,000 ringgit monthly. So all this contribute to better median wage for Malaysian workers in manufacturing. In fact, under the new Industrial Master Plan 2030, and if we look at the first quarter 2025 numbers, not only that we've added 50,000 jobs into the manufacturing sector, but we've also increased the median wage from 2,600 to 2,745 ringgit year on year. So when we move forward, we are confident of improving those metrics through the initiatives which I mentioned earlier. And in terms of funding, of course, we have the Minister of Finance here, is also the Prime Minister. Thanks to our clear policy direction, both in public and private sectors in Malaysia, whether they are through private equity or through capital from the markets, meaning public markets, we have shown that commitment to support the semiconductor industry is there via multiple platforms. So ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia's progress is particularly important in supporting ASEAN's vision as a manufacturing and semiconductor hub in the global value chain. And as the lead of ASEAN's economic pillar for Malaysia's chairmanship for ASEAN this year, I'm happy to share that we are making good progress on our ASEAN framework on integrated semiconductor supply chain. ASEAN must move beyond fragmented efforts and instead embrace a collective race to the top. So we need to leverage each other's strength, each other's nation's strengths, and by harmonizing policies, fostering talent mobility, and attracting strategic investments, we can enhance ASEAN's competitiveness and via a robust and truly integrated regional semiconductor ecosystem supply chain that benefits all our people. So in relation to that, I would like to congratulate the Semiconductor Industry Association of Malaysia, MSIA, Dr. Shri Wong, and of course Singapore, the Philippines, and Thailand, and Vietnam as well on their MOU that signed during the summit. This is a huge step to foster a more integrated and robust ASEAN semiconductor ecosystem. In closing, the progress Malaysia has made so far under NSS is a testament of our shared vision across all key stakeholders in the various parts of the semiconductor value chain. Our local ecosystem is experiencing robust growth, underscored by the exceptional capabilities of key industry players. Companies such as Pentamaster, for example, which boasts some of the most advanced machinery in the semiconductor sector, and of course just now visited Infeneon, which is establishing the world's largest 200mm silicon carbide power fabrication plant right here in Malaysia. So this reflects our nation's competitive edge and technological capabilities. We must continue to act decisively to capture this once-in-a-generation opportunity to secure long-term economic resilience and technological leadership. And Made by Malaysia is a vision that requires a whole-of-nation effort. With determination and our clear sense of purpose, we can and we will elevate Malaysia to shine proudly on the global stage in the semiconductor space. Well, thank you.
Trade and industry. Era of semiconductor excellence. We're taking bold steps to secure our.
Just over a year ago, I launched the Malaysia's National Semiconductor Strategy, the NSS, outlining our aspiration to promote technology for the greater good and position Malaysia, together with ASEAN partners, as leading partners in the global semiconductor industry. So much has changed since then. The global tariff landscape has grown more volatile and unpredictable, alongside tighter export controls and a rising push for technological self-reliance. In this evolving environment, the NSS is even more critical in consolidating Malaysia's long-term economic and global positioning. In my view, true supply chain resilience means eliminating weak links, either by producing what we need effectively or securing reliable partnership to access what lies beyond our domestic capabilities. In these volatile times, diversifying our options is not just wise, it is absolutely essential. So our journey in the semiconductor sector began more than 50 years ago, with Intel opening its first overseas production in Penang. That explains why the Chief Minister is here. Today, we are trusted and indispensable node in the global semiconductor supply chain, particularly in assembly and testing. But the NSS is not about staying where we are. It is about moving forward, capturing more value through R&D, IC design, and advanced manufacturing. Meeting Minister Zafrul just reminded us of the 5 headline targets for NSS on investments, growing local companies, developing Malaysia as the R&D hub, training 60,000 Malaysian engineers, and 25 billion ringgit in fiscal support to operationalize the NSS. He sometimes forgot the fact that he was then in the Ministry of Finance. We announced the 25 billion and said, "Sir, can you consider a bit more?" So I had to remind, yes, you put your finance cap, then probably you're most pathetic to me. But anyway, while we have made progress across all fronts, we also need to learn from global shifts and reprioritize with resilience, determination, and neutrality in mind. Most importantly, our mindset must shift from just having made in Malaysian products to creating made by Malaysian products. And this is the spirit that we had a series of discussions with our ASEAN partners. How to utilize this experience, working together to benefit our region. Now, our established semiconductor ecosystem in Malaysia is well poised to help us move beyond an FDI first model and focus on building homegrown champions. This doesn't mean turning away investors. It's critical to attract them, but being more strategic and prudent. We want long-term collaborations who grow with us, and we will continue to welcome partners who strengthen our supply chains, transfer their knowledge and technologies, and deliver real value to Malaysians. Accordingly, the most important target now is to deliver the 10 plus 100. This means building 10 Malaysian semiconductor supply chain companies with the revenues between 1 billion ringgit and 4.7 billion ringgit, and nurturing at least 100 more to approach the 1 billion ringgit mark. These companies will not only export Malaysian products to the world, but also bring our knowledge, value creation, and talent into ASEAN and together with ASEAN to the global markets. They will be our flag bearers abroad, rooted at home. Now, the second shift in priorities is reorienting talent development. There's a global shortage of engineers, even in the most advanced economies. By training and upskilling our own engineers, Malaysia is also contributing to the broader regional ASEAN-wide effort. If we act as a community rather than as individual nations, we can address this shortage more effectively. Malaysian companies should also work with partners across ASEAN to build infrastructure, enhance technical capabilities, and support the development of electronic industries in neighboring countries. Companies such as Vitrox, Petamaster, Greatech, and Skychip are already internationally competitive. But these companies are still small in the global context. Hence, we must build on their success, creating collaboration, opportunities for regional collaboration, new markets for our firms, and real industrial growth across ASEAN. Our NSS is targeting to build some of these Malaysian companies into mini Intel or mini TSMC within a decade. In short, Malaysia must build on its local strength to serve a larger regional and global purpose. By strengthening our domestic ecosystem, we are also helping to raise ASEAN's industrial capacity. Through these efforts, Malaysia can truly become the indispensable middle, a trusted partner that connects ASEAN to the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, even as we recalibrate our priorities, we must also strengthen our strategy by introducing new essential elements. Over the past year, we have continued engaging with industry players across Malaysia and abroad to better understand their challenges. These consultations have helped us identify where targeted support is most needed. I am pleased to share some key achievements on the NSS 1 year after its launch. First, as of March 2025, we have secured more than 63 billion ringgit of investments, with 5 billion ringgit from domestic sources and 58 billion ringgit from foreign sources. Notable projects include Carsem's advanced packaging for energy efficiency, EV, connectivity and AI, and XP's Semiconductor projects, Infeneon's world's largest 200 silicon carbide, PowerFed, Syntia's MEMS microphone and sensors, and Plexus manufacture and remanufacture of printed circuit boards. Secondly, in terms of growing 10 semiconductor companies with revenue of $1 billion and 100 with revenue of 1 billion ringgit, I am proud to share that Malaysia now has at least 13 homegrown companies across the semiconductor value chain. Congratulations. Now they are emerging as potential national champions. 9 of them, including Carsem, Inari, Petamaster, Vitrox, and Callington. Not much Malaysian names, but nonetheless. They are each expected to generate over 500 million ringgit in revenue this year. So as Shakespeare said, what's there in the name? A rose is a rose. So the rose sounds English, but still they are Malaysian when it comes to profitability. Now the other 4 are IC design and development firms with strong momentum, such as Opstar, Skychip, Infinex, and Experian, each recording annual revenue growth above 25%. 50 years from now, or much less, 50 years is the Zafro target. Mine is much less. We want Malaysia to be able to look back at this moment as the tipping point where the country began grooming its very own Fortune 500 tech companies. Now, thirdly, on creating 60,000 engineers alluded to earlier. And given how tight the labour market is for skilled tech talent, I'm happy to share that CREST, an agency under MITI, and HR Recall, an agency under Ministry of Human Resource, Mr. Sim is here, are entering into a collaboration to develop a robust tech talent pipeline for the semiconductor industry for 2025 to 2030. This is a key commitment under NSS, for which our proposed allocation of 1.2 billion ringgit over 5 years. Now, moving forward, we are now ready to provide stronger backing for the NSS. And I want to reiterate this commitment. More support for under the NSS strategy, particularly in growing our 10 plus 100 national champions. This enhanced support will focus on 3 key areas. First, we will unlock more catalytic capital to support early stage R&D, product development, and ecosystem scale. This includes a suite of targeted financing instruments, matching funds and customized incentives alongside continued investments by our GLICs, all aimed at strengthening local semiconductor capabilities and advancing Malaysia's position in the global value chain. To date, we have received commitment of more than 2 billion ringgit in various forms to support the industry's development from the government and other stakeholders crowned in capital. This includes support from GLICs like Khazanah and QAP, KWAP under the Gear Up initiative, Bank Negara Malaysia, and through partnerships with global players. Second, we will elevate our semiconductor diplomacy through deeper government-to-government cooperation, expanding market access for Malaysian firms, and forging trusted technology partnership. Now, as Chair of ASEAN 2025, Malaysia will lead efforts to strengthen regional collaboration, positioning ASEAN as a resilient and competitive hub in the global semiconductor value chain. Third, in strengthening our talent ecosystem via CREST HRD Core initiative mentioned earlier, we will also drive stronger collaboration across public, private, and academic institutions, which is key to my mind. To build a future-ready and industry-relevant workforce. In parallel, we will also intensify our R&D efforts through strategic collaboration between government, industry, and academia, ensuring Malaysia builds focused capabilities and remains competitive in rapidly growing high-tech global landscape. Now, Malaysia remains committed, therefore, to connecting current technological capabilities with future humanity-enhancing innovations. Our NSS has a clear roadmap to achieving that aspiration. It is, as I mentioned a year ago, a means for Malaysia to advance and democratize technology for the good of all humanity. And as we move forward, we'll adapt and course-correct, guided resilience and agility. While implementation of the NSS may evolve with time, Malaysia's commitment to being a leading global partner and the indispensable middle will remain steadfast. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to build in Malaysia for Malaysians and beyond. While globally competitive companies and talent, we aim to drive shared progress across ASEAN and invite all of you to be part of this journey. Terima kasih. Thank you.
To the MOU on strengthening cooperation among ASEAN Semiconductor Association. Congratulations.
Good to go. So please kindly pose for the photograph, crowd to the center. Big smiles to the camera. And congratulations to the ASEAN Semiconductor Summit 2025.